I personally was excited to be back in Houston, a graduate of North Shore High School, class of '84. The city is very special to me, and to have a lot of friends and family here. Was watching film, wasn't as excited, right? Going against they may be the best defensive team I've ever seen, and it was just hard to find shots. They do a great job. They're connected on that end, and then. I went down their roster, Javier Francis, 3 years in this program, Jawan Roberts, 5 years in this program, Jamal Shed, 4 years in this program, Sharp, 2 years in this program, Malik Wilson, 2 years in this program, Ramon Walker, 3 years in this program. They got a core of dudes that understand the culture of what this program's about, and they can foster that to the younger guys and bring it every day. We've only been there 2 years, so it's going to take us some time to get there. I told our staff, I don't know if the nature of college basketball, the way it is right now, that our young guys who I think are talented and other guys will allow us to get them to that third year. I hope so. But this is definitely, they set the standard for what it's supposed to look like on the defensive end.
How hard is their initial push? They were up 13-2. They've done that to some other teams as well. That initial push they sort of come out with.
Well, it's hard to simulate it in practice, right? You know what they're going to do, and it's just you can't duplicate it for your guys to adjust to the speed of which they do it, right? And, on film, we as coaches, we can pause the film and say, well, this pass is going to be open, but in real life, there's no pausing out there. And so it is tough to replicate, so therefore tough to adjust initially.
Especially when they get in those half-court, when they get their half-court defense set up, what makes them so hard to go against?
Well, they can do multiple things. They are multiple effort guys, so they can. They don't just tag at the rim, right? They're not just there to occupy the roller. They make a play on the ball. They can take away the roll and close out to the shooter and make the shooter dribble. So they just have a bunch of multiple effort guys that are always covering up for each other. We'd have a guy open, throw the pass, here came a deflection because the guy from the backside didn't give up on the play and was in the next spot. So it's just they're a very connected team on the defensive end.
Coach, is there a team that you would compare them to defensively in your coaching career?
I think the way they switch on the perimeter and how they can contain the ball reminds me of our team that won when I was at Baylor. They have better. I have some guys might get mad at me, but I think they have better rim protection than we did. They got multiple guys who are level 2 shot blockers, and so going in there and trying to finish is really tough. So, but yeah, they're really good.
Jerome, when you see Shed and how he sort of directs the offense, how do you defend a guy like that, or how do you care for a guy like that?
Yeah, well, Jamal makes everybody around him better. He makes good college players look like all conference guys, and that's just what great point guards do. And having been here and understanding what Coach Sampson wants, and I actually watched our Final Four game the last couple of days. So I watched, but I remember at the end of the game, he gets in the game and he actually misses a shot, gets an offensive rebound, and you can see him even he was in for a few seconds, he just has this competitiveness about him, and he holds his team accountable out there. And when you have a player that's holding players accountable, it helps the coaching staff.
Cam, early in the game, kept you in it. What was he able to do that maybe the other guys weren't?
He made shots, and Cam's a tough kid, and I think at Iowa State, he didn't get to play in the first half because of foul problems. In the second half, he came in and added a toughness to us that allowed us to get back in the game, and that's what he tried to do in the first half here.
In most games, you've been able to make a run and get back in it. It seemed like they just never let you back in it. Is that just their defense?
Yeah, their defense wouldn't allow us. Runs were one bucket. those runs out there.
Tough game, tough week for you guys. What's kind of the message to the team as you look to respond?
It's a one-game season. We didn't lose 2 games today or 3 games. We lost 1 game. And had we won, we'd have won 1 game. So we put it in a box and we move on. And every game's a one-game season, and that's how we're treated.
Coach back here, it's great to see you. Welcome home. Realizing the result isn't what you wanted. Let me give you a chance to kind of speak to what this city means. Not only are you from here, but you also won a bunch at the high school level here. The fact that U of H is part of your league now. What does that mean for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, means every other year I get to, come back and, play a game here. I have a ton of friends and family. My sister lives here. It's just, Houston's a special place, and it has a very, very special place in my heart. And so thankful to be able to come back. And, they just made the Big 12 even tougher, and Big 12 been the best basketball league in the country, and adding Houston to it made it better.
You came to some games here when it was the old building, but what are your thoughts just on?
I like the ring and the board. They did a really good job with it. I was here watching, Hoffein's Pavilion, and, the year that Winslow and those guys were over at Yates, they had to play their home games here. And so, it's seen a lot, but they've done a great job with it.
You get a chance to talk to LJ, or just to see him?
Just a hug. I gave him a hug in the line, and fine. So, yeah, he's a great kid.
To get a guy like that, though, like they did in the Forum, you saw what he could do in Baylor.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Well, it was huge. He adds spacing, right? And you have to take an extra step out, and that makes Jamal even quicker, right? And it makes Juwan even better in the post. And LJ's always been able to put the ball in the hole, and so that's whenever you get somebody like that, and then they've done a really good job with him, and because he's playing grittier and a little bit tougher, and sitting down and guarding, and so he's just become a better player.
Tyler, what was the hardest thing about playing that game today for you guys?
Houston's a really good team, offensively and defensively. They just make it tough on you, and they were just a tougher team today, and so give a lot of credit to them, their game plan, and we just gotta go 1-0 the next thing we do.
You guys had a couple hard games this week. How do you think the team will respond?
I think this is a very resilient team with a resilient coaching staff, and like Coach Tang said, it's a one-game season, and we can't duel on this one. We have another good contest coming up on Tuesday, and we got to get ready for that one. And so at the end of the day, every game matters in this league, and so. Like I said, we got to get ready to prepare for next one, and we're going back home, and we're going to have our crowd behind us, and, we got to get excited for that one.
Is this as ready as you've been to get back home after a couple of games?
Yeah, it's always good to get back in, in front of your home crowd, to get some home cooking, and, get back in the winning column. And, and then, like I said, the biggest thing is putting this one behind us and, continue to move forward.
Jerome, it's pretty unusual that you get technicals. It's happening back-to-back games. Just any thoughts on that?
I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I don't know. They didn't tell me how much the fine was, so my wife might be kind of mad at me if I go off on that. I got a tech for waving my hands the last game, and so I didn't wave my hands this game. And then I got a tech for telling Gary that he was the adult, and he needs to act like it because he was chirping with one of my players. And I'm always going to defend my guys. My guys are wrong. I'm going to correct them, right? But when they didn't, it wasn't what Gary Maxwell did and said to my player was not warranted. And all I told him was he's better than that as a person, and he's the adult. And I got a tech for that. I don't get it. But it's okay, right? Because that's the position I'm in, and that's the position they're in, and they have the authority in that situation, and so we take it and we move on. But there's got to be accountability for everybody's action. Mine are y'all see it on national television, and I get a tech, and I have to answer that to my AD. I think everyone in this game should have accountability for something, and so.
What did he say, and who did he say it to?
He told Cam Carter that if he wasn't quiet, he would get him out the game, and then proceeded to call 2 tic-tac fouls on him. And I just thought, bro, you're the adult here, right? You can, we can tuck our egos away and say, let the kids play the game, and, so.